Welcome, seekers of the unknown, as we pull back the veil between the living and beyond. Unraveling questions that plague our minds, and oftentimes presenting the evidence that may prove them true. Let us take you on a journey where paranormal becomes normal, and where what is right behind you just might be echoes of the afterlife or something more. But fair warning, once you step into the supernatural with us, you might just stay haunted.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Stay Haunted.
Welcome. Happy Monday.
I want to point out the obvious. The picture behind me was taken by Carmela and Audra right before Todd and I went into an investigation. We will pump to go investigate.
We are here to pump you up.
That's right. All natural.
Oh,
We are hulkified.
those gamma rays, damn it.
Damn it.
Jesus.
See what happens when you touch the dead bell.
So, yeah.
That's right.
Bell energy.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
So,
That's funny.
we're Miss Chris and Audra.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Happy Mother's Day,
Yeah.
Miss
Yeah,
Audra.
happy
Belated
Mother's
Mother's Day.
Happy belated Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Not the mothers, the mothers that had children.
Mamas.
Mamas.
Mamas. Yes.
All the mamas.
Yeah, the mamas.
How was your Mother's Day luncheon or breakfast?
Brunch with the girls.
Brunch all day.
Oh, yeah. It's close.
Yeah.
5:30.
Yeah, she left at 11.
11:30. It was 11:30 to 5:30. Yeah. I mean, the brunch wasn't supposed to be, but
The drinking one.
I stayed over with my mom with my aunt and sisters and, continued.
That's all right.
Nothing wrong
For the
with
big
that.
party.
Which is fine with me because when it was just us and the children, of course, you know how boys are.
Yeah, I know.
Planning, Chris did everything. Chris did the Mother's Day stuff. Here's some money. Go get your mom something, that type of crap. Now that they're grown and it's just the two of us, and now that we're in Ohio, she does Mother's Day with her family, and Chris gets to go golfing.
Isn't that?
Yes.
Hey, Raul, thank you.
So
What's your grandmother?
It was good.
Yeah? Did you get spoiled?
I don't know about spoiled, but
Did you have a good
Dang.
What'd you do?
we planted.
we did everything she wanted to do.
Oh, okay.
If we did what I wanted to do, we'd be in Disney. But I mean, hey, but everybody was here. TJ and Todd made breakfast. And then we went to Home Depot. We bought all our vegetables. I directed. Everyone did the heavy work.
We loaded soil into
90
the planter.
bags of soil.
I may have ever calculated by like 30 bags.
Just 30.
Oh,
30
We'll
bags.
use it. Because Lacey likes to hop up into the bed and dig shit up. So
Not into our bed.
yeah,
meaning
not
the
it.
bed
The
outside.
bed.
Right.
The bed.
flower beds and vegetable.
Hey, you gave
Need
me
a
this
fence.
last week. Let's keep it clean.
Need a fence.
Oh, yeah, they have chicken wire they're going to put up. They just didn't put it up.
Oh, good.
They have that ready to go, and we planted
Yep.
in the mud.
And then we watched the Sixers get their asses kicked and get
I
swept
didn't
like the
watch
Flyers. I know we turned it off. I mean, I couldn't bear it anymore. So, but
But we made burgers and dogs. We did.
burgers, dogs, and I think that was it. It was a relaxing day.
It was, yes, it was. It was good.
Nice.
I can't complain.
Did you show your new shirt? I don't know. Did we talk about it? Because we
I
went to
don't know if we
White Hill.
See?
But
Oh,
I was
I
going
see
to say, but giving everybody the finger.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's the little ghost with the
middle fingers.
with the middle fingers, the digits, the hello fingers.
That is awesome.
I am really at a loss of words
Me
today.
too.
Something happened to me, and my brain is no
Are you
longer
all right?
there. I don't know. I may be having a stroke or something,
No,
but I'll be fine.
Okay.
I'll be fine. No need to
One
worry.
side of her face might go.
Just if I start to go, just let me go. It's the right side, right?
Just hear me thump during the show.
I'll do it this way, this one.
There you go.
So, Audra, real fast.
Yes.
So were you, so did you mention you were a little, you were a little tipsy from your drinks?
I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe I was sensing it because I was going to find the parallel between you being, kind of having a little bit of a rough, maybe Mother's Day. And then Chris, you went out and hit some golf balls yesterday,
She
right?
didn't have a rough one.
I didn't say she had a rough Mother's Day.
Rough meaning drinking, or
Yeah,
rough meaning she was sad?
But Chris, I know we were talking, so
I missed something.
I was I'm trying to lead into Chris, hitting like 100 golf balls.
Oh.
So for those of you that don't know, Chris has RA throughout all my joints. And I haven't golfed in about 30 years. I got new clubs because I want to start playing again. And I decided to go out and I wanted to try every club. Well, this isn't 30 years ago when Chris was 30 years younger and didn't have RA, right? So I got out and hit a bucket of 100 golf balls. Needless to say, by 7 p.m., I couldn't get off the couch. So it is what it is.
I've been there.
Nothing.
I mean, look at the two in the background. I mean, you should be so.
Oh, you're right. That shouldn't be
you
us,
should be
right?
so
We're nice and buff.
powerful. Yeah, you should be so powerful with those 100 balls.
Well, that's how I looked after hitting the 100 golf balls.
Yeah.
Got it. All right.
Nothing
Okay.
slows me down. I'm like, except 100 golf balls.
Yeah.
Then you're kind of done.
It doesn't slow me down. I just pay for it.
Literally both ways. You really did pay for it, and
Yeah.
That was
We did.
$12, but
Yeah, it's actually very
pretty cheap.
Yeah,
That isn't
that's not
bad.
bad.
expensive here for the golf, which is nice.
Yeah.
Really quick before we introduce our guest. Before we introduce our guest, next Monday we'll have more paranormal stuff to talk about in the intro because
Hopefully.
Next week,
we're going down to Ohio State Reformatory to the Paracon.
Yay.
And Todd and Carmela, you guys got some exciting stuff happening on Saturday too. don't
We
you?
are going to, and I got to, because I don't want to get my tongue, I want to pronounce it correctly. It is, where is it? Where's it at? It's the I Heart Horror and Hot Rods Ice Cream Monster Jamboree, Spiritual Realm and Time Tunnel Far Out Affair. Say that 10 times fast.
Where's it at?
So it's in Sayreville, New Jersey, which is about probably like an hour north of us. And it's a fundraiser for charity event for raising money for veterans for the local VFW 40, I think it's 4699. And the Sayreville Rotary Club, South Amboy, I think it is also, put it on. This is the first year that they're doing, it's the third, I think, annual hot rod and ice cream that they're doing hot rods and stuff.
Well,
But
they have ice cream.
yes, ice cream's in the title, so I would like to think so.
Yeah, never say never.
Never say never is right. But
When I go and I expect to find ice cream, and they don't have
Right.
it.
and then, but yeah, this is the first year they're doing like a paranormal kind of talking spiritualist and tarot card readers and paranormalists, and we're actually going to be talking. We got invited to speak, so we're going to be speaking on behalf of Stay Haunted and 222.
So you're going to be
Awesome.
you're going to be talking paranormal to a bunch of drunk veterans and hot rods eating ice cream.
What is better than that?
Sounds like a blast.
Great
actually.
combo.
Everybody's listening, doesn't matter, and you're going to do all the talking.
No.
And I'm just going to go,
We're in. So, this will be our first time kind of talking, and I figured, well, maybe a good, easier
we have
intro.
30 minutes.
30 minutes. We're going to talk about White Hill, Montgomery House, and Tallow, 3 of our favorite locations and some of the experiences that we've had. So,
And then we're going to
where are we going?
Mid-Orange.
We're going with the Full Moon Ladies. After that, Saturday night, we're going to Mid-Orange Correctional Facility to investigate.
Wow.
You get locked in there.
So
Wow.
Get enough of the
go
credit.
to paranormal stuff to talk about
about
next
next
Monday
week.
between the
Yeah.
four of us.
Wow.
Should be interesting.
Cool.
All right. You guys ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready. You ready?
I'm
Ready?
So, guys, we have a really exciting guest tonight. We have Alex Matsuo.
So.
She's a paranormal researcher, investigator, and author. And if you haven't heard of her, you're not in the paranormal. Alex is the founder of the Association of Paranormal Study and runs the blog, The Spooky Stuff, which features various paranormal topics and historical places with reports of ghosts. Alex has been featured on the Travel Channel, Disney.
I like Disney.
Disney's Going Haunted, Discovery Plus,
Haunted Mansion.
CTV, Sci-Fi, and Tubi. And some of her books include Haunted Northern Virginia, Women of the Paranormal, Volume 1, A Brief History, The Hamptonville Hauntings, The Trivette Clinic, One Bed Over, A Hospital Haunting, The Brave Mortal's Guide to Ghost Hunting. Alex also holds a Master of Arts in Theater from San Diego State University and works as a senior learning experience designer in Arlington, Virginia. Guys, everybody say hello to Alex.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you.
Of every
Alex. Thanks for being here.
what she doesn't tell you is she also does roller derby, powerlifting. So
Yeah.
ghosts are actually scared of Alex.
Okay?
Yeah, they're like, oh shit, here she comes
gotta-
again.
I got to ask real fast. How much fun is the roller
Derby.
derby? Is it a lot of fun
Oh.
just to beat the crap out of people, other people, let out
You
some
know-
frustrations?
It's a great way to get out aggression. And I feel like a lot of paradrama could probably be reduced if everyone played roller derby.
Yes!
There you go.
Or you lay on the floor.
Just like,
Immediately. Down
Listen,
we go.
Alex, you're onto something. There it is. We're gonna have a paranormal roller derby derby tournament.
I just want to be a referee.
You can be the referee.
I'll be the
Because there
referee.
are referees, right?
So there's actually a recreational league. It's a paranormal themed rec team. They're called Paranormal Posse, and I actually met them a month and a half ago at a tournament I was at. And it's basically like all these other skaters from different leagues coming together because they all love paranormal stuff. And when I was looking at the rosters for the tournament, I was like, hold up, there's a team called Paranormal Posse? Like, and why am I not
Yeah,
part
why
of
you're
it?
not, right.
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 That's
Oh
right.
my gosh. Awesome.
so not to be insulting at all, but just thinking, have you guys ever been to a Paracon? All of us here have. I don't see too many of those people doing roller derby.
No.
No. I don't.
I couldn't do it. So.
There'd have to be plenty of paramedic staff on hand with EMT.
Oh yeah, actually, it's a requirement to have at least 2 EMTs on site during a game.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
All right.
All right.
that's
I'm
awesome.
just the referee.
I
So-
would think you have to be the referee.
I'll
So
love
the
it.
next question is, Alex, and we ask this of all of our guests that have been on for the first time. Tell everybody how you got hooked into the paranormal.
Ooh, that's a loaded question for me. Yeah, so my earliest experience happened when I was a kid. I know, so unique in this community. So different. But really, I think what hooked me into becoming the investigator, researcher, author, whichever I am today, I had a fairly significant experience when I was 19, going into 20 years old. And for anyone that's been following me, or they're like, oh, she's telling the story again. I was in a really bad car accident on New Year's Eve 2005 and I don't want to say it's a near-death experience, but I think I had an out-of-body experience. But I also ended up with some sort of attachment, spiritual attachment from that experience. And that ended up lasting for about 8 months. And at that time, it was 2006, the paranormal community wasn't really there. Like you could probably find them in the phone book, but it wasn't like I mean, and whether or not they were legit is another question. But when my mom and I were trying to find help at the time, it was just really difficult to get any sort of assistance, especially like from any sort of religious entity. Um, but from that experience, I actually got inspired to do my own research, and I had always like been into paranormal spooky stuff, much to my mother's frustration as a conservative Christian. Um, and so I already had a little bit of a baseline, and I was going out ghost hunting when I was 16, which is 2000 or something, 2002. So, we're talking like early baby stages. But I got really inspired to do research of my own and be like a resource for my community. Um, I also I started a team in 2011, Association of Paranormal Study, which is still going today. We're hitting on 15 years this year, which it's really just me and my friends getting together and going on investigations and researching and just talking about this topic that we love so much. And yeah, and with the team, I also started a monthly support group for people who had paranormal experiences. We had meetup groups where we could just come together and talk about different topics, share about our own experiences in a safe environment where there's support, and yeah, it just kind of bloomed from there. And my interest in the paranormal has shifted and has become pretty fluid over the past like 5 or 6 years. Um, and I've adapted APS to kind of do the same thing. And yeah, that's how I got started.
Nice.
Wow.
And you didn't just get started. You rolled into it like a
ran with it.
steamroller, right?
Yeah, I joke that this is my neurodivergence coming in, but when I get hooked on a topic, I get hooked on a topic. Like I'll read all the books. I always tell people, like, if you ever want to see what I'm currently researching, take a peek at this bookshelf because it's my most easily accessible books.
Good God.
So yeah,
Makes my brain.
Some light
so right
reading.
now, this entire thing is Japanese folklore and ghost stories. So that's
Oh, wow.
upcoming. So it's a current research topic of mine. Hopefully, we'll cultivate it into a book. But yeah, it's like yokai, Japanese ghost stories, art. So that's what all of that is. And I can easily access these books and put them back, and I don't have to go back to my other shelf. So
Ah,
Wow.
I go in.
When do you sleep?
I know. That's what I was going to ask. Wow.
I wake up very early and do my writing in the morning so that when I go to I think it's just because my 9 to 5 is so corporate America, and especially in the age of AI and having to use these tools or research these tools or train other people on how to use these tools. Not that it's dry, but it's just very mundane, day to day, like go the daily grind type of thing. And this is like my creative this is my creative outlet. So
Yeah.
So you talked about the accident that you had, Alex, and not necessarily near-death experience, more of an out-of-body experience. So it made me think of a movie that we saw. It's been a few years now through Angel Studios. It was I always have a brain fart as what the title is.
After death.
It was about near-death experiences. It was like a 90-minute documentary about it was doctors, neuroscientists. I don't know if you saw the movie. It's an interesting after death, I think it's called.
Yeah, it's after
ooh.
And it's all about it opens with a pilot and a co-pilot. They crash into like a church steeple and stuff like that, and they have near-death experience and stuff like that. So kind of tying into that, all different age groups, professional backgrounds, they've had different experiences
after death.
Yeah, after death.
2023.
And so they had certain accounts and experiences. All of them are a little bit different. So you said yours wasn't necessarily near death, but you said out of body. So do you recall any specifics as about what exactly could you share with everybody in chat? I know what the experiences were.
Oh yeah, definitely. So with me, I was floating above my body while the doctors were working on me. Also standing at the foot of the bed I was on. The other thing, though, was I was able to leave the room and go out the hallway and walk around. One of the things that really stood out to me was when I went into the lobby, I saw my mom being comforted by my friends and their parents. And at the time, I was like, oh, yeah, this must be a near death experience because all the people I care about and love are here all in the same place and I'm seeing them. Come to find out, when my mom found out about the accident, my mom did drive over to the site, and by the time she arrived, they were loading me into the ambulance. I didn't realize that she had basically texted a couple of my friends and said, "Hey, Alex has been in an accident. Be sure to pray for her." They ended up texting the rest of my social circle and getting their parents, and they all rushed to the hospital to go
Oh,
support my
wow.
mom.
Mm.
Wow.
So they
Awesome.
really were all there. Um, and so we're talking like 20, 30 people, possibly even more, just all kind of dominated this hospital lobby. Um, but they were all there to support. They were supporting me, of course,
Right.
but with my mom, her only child, her baby, got into this devastating accident, and she might not survive, and she
Right.
needed support. So, um, yeah, but yeah, then coming to find out that that actually happened, because I had no idea until maybe a day or two later, because obviously they all weren't going to come up to the hospital room. Um, it was all the visits were very fragmented afterwards. But then, yeah, when I found out, like, oh, no, no, there was a whole group there. I was like, oh, okay.
Interesting.
Huh.
Wow.
And that's
Well,
one
here-
of the. It's funny that now I'm going to ask you something. Do you recall were any doctors? Did you see any doctors? While you had that out of body experience, were they talking any specific terminology that you can recall, that something that you necessarily wouldn't know medically, I guess, terminology wise?
Um, I don't recall any of those specifics. I do recall them saying, like, "Stay with me, Alex. Stay with me, Alex," because apparently I was kind of drifting in and out, because I did have some significant internal bleeding. And because of that internal bleeding, I could not they didn't give me any pain medications or anything to help subside um any physical sensations. So when they were picking me up and moving me, or just moving me at all, like, I felt all the broken bones in my body. Um, so a part of me does wonder, like, did my body just check out, like, as a self-defense mechanism?
Right.
Um,
Well, like shock.
yeah. Yeah, I
Like you
think,
were in
yeah.
shock.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I definitely went into shock later that evening. Because after I had passed out, had the out of body experience, they did take me in for a CAT scan and MRI, and because they were like, we need to definitely assess how bad the damage is, and I just started shivering, like they had to put a warm blanket on me, like I was just like I think as the adrenaline started to go down, it was just like that, like I was shaking. Like I do
And,
remember that.
and the reason I asked that question, because one of the scenes from the movie was, it was a woman who, I forget, she may have had an accident too or something, but she had to have, or she was having a surgical procedure done, I think. And
Oh,
she had
wow.
an out of body
I was gonna say the
experience.
lady on the canoe, or you're talking about my
Maybe,
patient?
or no, the one from the movie. And she saw herself while the doctors were doing the procedures or whatever. And when
Oh,
she
yeah,
came
yeah,
through, the
yeah.
doctor come in and,
Mm.
post-op next morning or whatever. Oh, how you doing? Blah, blah. She's like, oh, I'm good. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, everything. And she started rattling off terminology that she had no business turning off. And the doctor's like, oh, you're tired. You're, post operation. Goes into the other code doctor that was in the. She's like, yo, man, she's like rattling off stuff.
She heard the whole conversation basically,
yeah.
and she was
Oh, wow.
recounting everything that they had talked about.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Like, she should know what that means,
Right.
but she
Right.
was above them listening.
Yeah, I don't recall any specific terminology, but I also worked as a standardized patient at UCSD, so I would have already been exposed to that terminology.
Gotcha.
So that would be the only drawback if I had recalled anything, because then
Right.
I have a skeptical mind, so
Okay.
I try to reflect that when I tell my own story. It's like, well, but ironically, I did not recall any medical terminology, but I've heard of that, which is fascinating. Unfortunately, I think mine would have been debunked because I did the standardized patient thing. So, if anyone's seen that episode of oh my gosh, Seinfeld, that's exactly like when Kramer is a standardized patient. That's exactly what it is.
Well, the amazing thing about those stories is the doctors will come back and say it was the chemical reaction in your brain because of the trauma, and you thought you saw this stuff, but everybody comes back and says, like, you knew who was there.
Yeah. Yep.
Everybody comes back with details that cannot be explained. It's like, okay, if it's a chemical reaction in my brain because of the condition my body is in, then how did I know this? Right. And how did I know that? And that's what throws the doctors off. And I love it when we spin science on their ass. It's just it's fantastic. Yeah.
Right.
So let's talk about, I'm leaning into this because it's a favorite location of ours. How did you get so deeply involved in the Trivette clinic?
Yeah. So I had moved to North Carolina in 2013. And I was really trying to find a place that was home, so to speak. Because I had that in San Diego when I was living there. The 10th Avenue Theater was basically my home away from home. But I was really like wanting to find a location that was, available in the state, a couple hours drive. And I was living in Raleigh at the time. So one of my friends, Tina McSwain from Charlotte Area Paranormal Society, CAPS, we were at Con Carolinas, I want to say it was 2015 or 2016. And she was like, oh, you should check out the Trivette clinic. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I didn't really think much of it. Oh, thanks, Mary Beth. I got everyone fooled. Anyway, but yeah, so she gave me Doug's number. Doug's one of the owners, and I had texted him, and it was very much, I mean, and Chris and Audra, it's just like this very much like gritty underground type thing where, a lot of haunted locations have a website or an email address. And it was, no, you need to, so there's two numbers. There's one you call and there's one you text for Doug, and make sure you do the one you text. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so ended up making a reservation to investigate. And I actually ended up using it for the meetup group. It's like, hey, I think this might be an interesting thing for the meetup group to attend. And and it was cash only. And I was like, okay. I'm like, okay. So I was like, all right, cool. And that first night we were in the basement, and what really hooked me was we were trying to talk to either Jeremy or Majesty, the children in the basement, and we were talking about playing a game of tag, and we were saying we were like, okay, you're it, or you're like, okay, we're gonna like you kids pick who's it. And we actually did get this on audio. We said, touch one of us, let us know who's it. And you can hear this little child's voice go, tag. And nice. I was like, okay, when can I come back? Do you have openings next week, next month? So and usually I do like to go in blind for a first investigation. And I've been to places before. I've had experience after the first visit, and it kind of tapers off. Not with the Trivette clinic. Once I started doing research on the place, the history of it has so many layers. And I think,
God, yes.
Oh, and I think, and there's the history that's been documented, but then there's the history that the locals know about that didn't get documented. So that was probably the biggest challenge with like dissecting the history of the Trivette clinic, was like, okay, well, how much of this is like local lore, is like the haunted house, and how much of it actually happened, and what could have happened that didn't get documented. So it was. So that alone, and plus the history of Dr. Trivette and his wife Gwendolyn, like their dynamic and their relationship, the multiple iterations of a nursing home, the supper club, the dentist office, and all like the private residence, the nursery, and finding out like, oh wait, the nursery workers were actually reporting paranormal activity too, but that didn't get documented not very well. And it's like, okay, well, how can I find these people? Are they still alive? I want to talk to them. So I just ended up interviewing all these people about the place, and it just kind of turned into my white whale, my Moby Dick. It turned into my white whale. So yeah, it was just that one little voice saying tag just opened up the rabbit hole, and yeah, one book later.
It's actually a fantastic place. So I want you to tell our audience how many different recorded spirits have been captured at the Trivette Clinic.
Oh my God. Okay. So it's going to depend who you talk to. I would say my team and I, we've officially documented 8 of them. However, some will say that there's over 70.
Yeah.
I do think though that maybe, and of course this is all like anomalous studies, like consistency is a bit off. Whereas one could argue like maybe Majesty and Jeremy are actually one entity, but like one person interpreted Jeremy as a little boy and another person interpreted that same entity as a little girl. So that's where it starts to get a little muddy with like the 70 plus ghosts. Same thing with like, and feel free to agree or disagree with me on this, but I've learned through my experiences at the Trivette Clinic, it's like these spirits tend to, it's almost like they create their own family units, and they centralize in different locations. Like you have the basement ghosts, you have the first floor ghosts, you have the second floor ghosts, and then you have the ones on the outside, and they don't cross each other often.
No.
But it seems like there might be one that does, which is like, but maybe 1 or 2. And Dustin Crowley and I actually joke that maybe it's all just one ghost and he's just a trickster and just messing with everybody. What personality shall I adapt today?
Right.
But yeah, so. But it's also, I'm not a fan of speaking in absolutes either. So there could be 70, there could be 5, there could be 12, there could be 8. But in terms of like, at least with us capturing names and we try to feel out personalities and not just names, we've seemed to have gotten like 8. Could there be more? Absolutely. I've seen other spirits come through, especially when I was helping Tim and Doug with the Halloween tours, and there's voices coming through on the spirit box where I'm like, I don't know who this is, and then somebody in the group starts crying and they're like, oh, that was my uncle's best friend, and I'm like,
oh,
okay.
Yeah, interesting.
I'm like, okay, so that also leads to the whole theory too that the Trivette Clinic could be either some sort of portal. That's great.
That's awesome.
I see it too. But yeah, so it was, portal. But I've also have heard the Trivette Clinic being compared to a porch light, where if there's spirits around that are trying to find a place that's home, like the Trivette Clinic's porch light is on, which I'm inclined to agree with as well. So, yeah.
I would have to agree with that because the first time we investigated it, of course, we had the experiences inside. Mm-hmm. But when we walked outside, and both of us are sensitive, I don't lean towards medium because I don't.
I feel that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Yep. We were actually standing outside, and I'm like, "Oh my God!" And she's like, "What?" I actually see patients walking the grounds. I'm seeing people walking around like they're just they let them out to get some, exercise, some air. And I actually see multiple people walking the grounds, but you don't see that inside. So I tend to agree with you that you've got your inside ghosts, you've got your inside spirits, you've got your outside spirits. And I doubt they cross because we never experienced the times that we investigated the inside ones outside. We never experienced anything outside inside.
Yep.
Yeah.
And very weird.
Guys, just to give you the emotion of this clinic, this clinic meant so much to the doctor, and his wife meant so much to him. He built her a pond on the property in the shape of a heart.
Yep.
And it is still there.
So cool.
Yep.
The pond is still there.
That's
Yeah.
what I want for my birthday. Just saying.
Our
It's a
backyard
good
park.
fishing spot. It's a good fishing spot. Yeah, and after the doctor died, so there was an age difference between Gwendolyn and Dr. Trivette. And after he passed, she lived for another almost 50 years because she died in the 80s. He died in the 30s, and she never remarried, which is pretty uncommon for that time period.
Right.
Especially, even with like financial security, which meant that he must have taken really good care of her to make sure she
Right.
was, secured. But that's really rare for something like that to happen. And they also never had children. So the fact that she did not remarry, she's a fascinating one. I have not even seen her picture yet. I've heard there's one exists in somebody's trunk in Harmony, and I'm like,
Wow.
I want to see the picture. I want to see pictures.
Yeah.
that
We have
would be
plenty of
cool.
pictures of him. We
Right.
have plenty of pictures of him. And he was quite a dashing fellow for anyone that's curious. Yeah, so that their relationship has fascinated me, and he's come through at the Trivette Clinic, and so has she. She's come through as well. But she would visit the clinic even after she sold it. When the family that moved in and made it a private residence, like she would come over still, and she would talk to the kids, and she was like, "Oh, I hope you like the building. I hope you like your house." So she was still pretty tied to it long after she had legally separated from it too. So I thought that was interesting.
Here's a question, and I don't know. This is because unfortunately, we haven't been there to investigate, but we've heard a lot of the great stories from Chris and Audra. At what point was paranormal activity kind of did people start to notice activity at the Trivette
Yeah.
Clinic? Is there
So
a beginning kind of estimated start date per se?
yeah, so it depends who you talk to. So that's something I say a lot in the book. I'm like, it depends who you talk to. But because initially I thought it was like early 2000s, 2010s when Tim and Doug had purchased so when they purchased the nursery, so with the evolution of the clinic, it was a nursing home twice. Before that, it was a supper club with a detox clinic on the main floor. Then it was the nursing home in 2 different iterations. But then it became a private residence to the Campbell family. And the Campbells ran a nursery business, so plants. And they made the house their home, but also like their office.
Okay.
So with the Campbell family, that was when the activity was started to get noticed and documented with amongst the family members. It actually really targeted the eldest brother of the family. He actually got the brunt of a lot of the experiences. The sister and the youngest brother they experienced some as well. But and I'm actually connected with the youngest son. He actually still lives in the area, probably like 5 or 10 minutes from the clinic. He doesn't really associate with Tim or Doug though, so that is something like to note. But he was able to tell me a lot about what his family went through when they lived in the house. I mean, it wasn't like super scary Amityville horror type of activity, but like I said, the eldest brother actually did experience a lot, and a lot of it was negative. Like he couldn't have friends staying over at the house because like his friends would get punched.
Oh wow!
And when he even if he wasn't in the room, like some sort of entity would punch them. And his room was actually, I believe it was the red room.
Wow.
And there was one point where so the Campbells did renovate the house to make it more like residential. So when you look at that's why we have what we have today. The books on his bookshelf would stack by themselves. Like he would turn around and go back, and then his books were stacked all in one pile, like in one big tower. And he would get in trouble, for messing with the books. And he was like, "It wasn't me, I swear." So he got more of the negative experience. The youngest son was telling me the family would go out to eat, and then they would come back, and their broom would be sitting in the middle of the hallway on the first floor, just standing by itself. And no one else had been home. He had also mentioned that some of the nursery workers were experiencing weird things, like when they would come into the house to either get water or fill out paperwork or plant care, like they would hear people walking around when no one else was home or the kids were at school. And eventually the Campbells sadly, they did go into bankruptcy. Well, it was a divorce. The Campbells ended up getting divorced, and the house and the business was sold as part of the divorce agreement. And this person with last name is Schubam, ended up purchasing the clinic and then continued the nursery, because the nursery business was rather successful.
Wow.
And then Tim and Doug purchased the property from Schubach. So, but it was when Tim and Doug were starting to, I would say when the paranormal activity was really starting to get reported and actioned on, I guess that's a better word to say, was when Tim and Doug had a man come through. He actually had a FLIR camera in the basement, and he was looking for like any leaks and water spots, but he started to see faces in the camera.
Oh shit.
So, and there was even one where like
there. Oh, hi there.
Yeah, exactly. So he's taking photos of any moisture spots and leaks and whatnot. And he started to see faces in the camera. And there was one shot that he showed me where like there was a face right up on the camera. It was almost like, oh, what's this? And I was like, one, for you to stay there and be totally cool and not crap your pants, like kudos. Because if I started seeing a face in the FLIR camera and it's just getting closer and closer and closer, I've seen a lot of scary things in my life, but that's something I'm like, hey, you know what? Bye-bye,
Yeah.
I'll go back to the Montgomery house, and when we were doing a with Raul at the Montgomery house, and we joked about with the night vision goggles. Like, imagine if we were looking for Bigfoot out in the back of the Montgomery house, and if you saw like Bigfoot come up in front, because it's like super clear, it's like daylight with the night vision goggles. It's like, what? Be like, oh shit. Like,
it was definitely one of those. I was like, well, good on you for sticking around, and staying there. But yeah, so, and that was when he talked to Tim and Doug, and he was like, hey, I think you got some ghosts here. You got something weird going on. And then Tim's niece came over to the clinic one day, and she started playing patty cake with an imaginary friend, and they were like, the adults were like, oh, who are you playing with? And she's like, oh, it's my friend Majesty. And that's where Majesty came to fruition. So yeah, so it's a layered effect with like when the paranormal activity surfaced with the Trivette clinic. So I have documented reports dating back to the 80s, and that was with the Campbell family and their employees. And then, fast forward to the 90s, early 2000s, and then we get to Tim and Doug. So yeah.
Ironically enough, I've been investigating for over 30 years now. I started in my early 20s. Now I'm in my 50s. I've been touched, heard voices, doors slammed, you name it. I've seen it. I've heard it. The Trivette clinic was the first place I was ever pushed.
Oh, wow.
I was standing, on the second floor, Irma's room in the corner as you get to the top of the stairs. I was standing next to the railing between the doors to the bedroom and the bathroom. And I was standing against the railing, and I was hearing Irma say, my room, my room, my room, which I actually caught an EVP of. And next thing I know, I hear footsteps come up the stairs, turn the corner, and rush through behind me. And I actually got shoved towards the banister. It's almost like, not necessarily a shove, but maybe like something brushed me as it ran by. But that was the first time ever in all the times I've investigated, I've actually been shoved.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
wow.
When you say the Campbell's son, some of his friends got punched. I'm going, it's probably the same little some bitch that was.
Just pushed me around.
That's right.
Probably. But yeah, so in terms of like identifying any of the spirits, though, there at the time, obviously the Campbells were not, I don't want to say equipped, but we were also when they were living there, it's like post Amityville horror, post like poltergeist, all these like things where the paranormal was a bit I mean, still is, but back then definitely stigmatized, and it's like, oh, if you got something weird going on, like, what's wrong with you? So and
Right.
plus also, I mean, and Chris and Audra, you know how rural this area is.
Oh,
Yeah.
In
God.
a extremely rural area and also very religious. So
Right.
in terms of trying to find any support at the time was likely
Right.
non-existent.
In the Bible Belt,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Not happening.
I mean, it's a Bible Belt.
North Carolina is still in the Bible Belt, man. You cannot drive a quarter of a mile without hitting a church in
I
North
mean,
Carolina.
there's churches all over the place, and I mean, I was able to find where Dr. Trivette and his wife are buried, and literally there's
weird.
yeah, it's like 5-10 minutes away from the clinic. It's the Methodist church nearby, but there's like 5 or 6 churches right in that area, and the Dr. Trivette's parents had several children, and his parents are buried in the same cemetery, but his siblings are spread out to other church cemeteries. So finding his siblings and was an interesting adventure too. And also Tim is from the Trivette family too.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
I didn't
Yeah, Tim's a Trivette. Yeah, so because Dr. Trivette's parents had several kids, and then several of their kids had several kids. If you see the last name Trivette in that area, they're likely kin to Dr. Trivette.
Wow.
Oh.
Well, and to give everybody concept, when Alex says this is rural, so we're talking Hamptonville, North Carolina. It sits just off of Interstate 77, north of Statesville, right? Look it up on the map. I'm not going to explain where it's at because. And you literally go 5 miles off the interstate and then make a left on this rural road, and you go back. And what's amazing is the first time we went there, pitch dark, right?
Oh, you probably missed the entrance.
Whoa.
No, yeah, we missed the entrance, went back, found the entrance, pulled in, and went.
But we didn't think it was it.
We didn't know it was a nursery.
That happened to me too. Yeah, I got there and I was like, where is it?
Yeah. Well, and then we're driving through the nursery in the dark, and I'm like, this is flipping creepy. And then we go back and we're like, I'm like, let's park here. We'll call Tim and Doug and find out where the hell we are. What's weird is we parked next to the nursery office, and I got out of the car and we're standing there, and I just got this weird sensation, and I was just like, where the F is this place at? And I turned and pointed at the bushes, and I went, it's right there. And she's like, no, it's not. And I went, see the light through the bushes? And you know the little archway?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it's right there. And so we started walking through that archway, and all of a sudden it opened up. And it, guys, you would not think this was where it's at. And it is. It's not just a great location to investigate, but man, if you don't get into the mood just arriving and walking to the front door, then you're not paying attention.
It would be a great place to film a horror movie.
Yes, it would. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely got some vibes with it, and actually, the house behind it used to be Dr. Trivette's house. Unfortunately, the people who live there or squatting there have not been taking care of it. Like the roof is collapsing, and it's a shame because I'm like, I would buy that house and I would I would definitely restore it. And then like, you know, could do like a dual thing with the Trivette clinic and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I've heard that house has some really crazy activity. But that's all like local lore too. So I do have to preface that. Because none of the people who currently live there are willing to talk to me. I tried. I had to do a little quick jog back to my car when they answered the door, and I was like, oh wait, nope, never mind, dude. Sorry, didn't mean to bother you. So they're definitely not open to talking in case if anyone's like, just go there and knock on the door. I'm like,
yeah, and this guys, this is very rural. The houses are, I mean, the ones right behind the Trivette clinic aren't that far, or Trivette clinic, but the houses.
Trivette. Depends who you talk. Again, depends who you talk to.
Right. They're not close. Like the night we were sitting there investigating, somebody pulled into a house down the way, and the sound carries, guys. It's a forested area. You could, and they're honking, and then from the north, we hear somebody come out their front door and go, "Shut the fuck up!" I'm like, "Welcome to the South." But it was like 5 acres this way and 5 acres that way, and they heard every honk, and we heard every honk. But it is a great, fantastic location. And then, guys, for such a small, I mean, that house is maybe what, 1,800 square feet?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really, I mean, Dr. Trivette built it to address the gap, like, because it's you know, we've very clearly established it's a rural area. The nearest hospital where that town could get any medical treatment was Statesville, which back
Wow.
in the 30s, getting to Statesville wasn't a 30-minute drive. It was
No.
a
Right.
bit of a longer trek. So
Right.
it was where like you got your tonsils taken out. It's where babies were born. There's some more nefarious history tied to it. I have not, like in the basement, but I have not been able to verify that. A lot of that is lore. I'll just say it's lore, just because I haven't been able to verify it. I do know that Dr. Trivette's brother ran his dental practice
Right.
in the basement. And
Right.
in fact, when the Campbells bought the house or bought the building, the dentist chair was still there. And they
We
also
know.
found a bunch of body parts in jars, which isn't nefarious for a small town clinic doctor.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
that's definitely not nefarious. But the fact that those jars stayed in the basement for so long, like with the nursing home and everything, and I asked Kevin Campbell, I was like, so what did your parents do with the jars of body parts? And he said they dug a hole in the what would have been the back. It's actually where the stone archway is. They dug a hole and put all the jars in that
Oh,
hole and buried them and covered it up.
Oh my.
Oof.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think that if anything,
Not
to
that it was
explain
done
the haunting.
intentionally, but
Yeah, it
not
wasn't done out of malice or harm.
Yeah.
I'm sure they did it for like, hey, let's put these body parts to rest with
Yeah,
whichever.
yeah.
But he said they just tossed it all in the hole and covered it up, and I was like,
Hmm.
oh,
Hey, man.
okay.
Yummy.
Oh.
I would be, because Carmela's a dental assistant, I would be curious going down to do an investigation there and you being in the basement.
Open wide. Open wide.
Open
Well,
wide.
what's interesting
If you
about
would have any type of, if you could talk and have interactions with any type of,
Yeah.
What's interesting about the
And-
basement, if you go into the basement now, it's a wide open area with like a little kitchen area off to the side.
Yep.
But if you look at the wide open
You can
area, if you look
see
at the
where
floor,
walls were.
You can,
you can see where there used to be walls for like different individual rooms.
yep.
Gotcha.
Yep. And what those rooms are for, it's a bit up in the air because the nurses also had their offices in the basement. So the basement was kind of it's a cluster because you had the nurses who had their office there, but they also had their nurses' quarters right next to the clinic. And either the Campbells or Schubach tore it down. I do have a picture of the building of the nurses' quarters.
I do remember them saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looked like it looked like a nice little cabin. I can't remember who tore it down. I'll have to look at my notes. But yeah, so there was a lot going on. There was a lot going on down in that basement. So what I do know for sure was the nurses' offices, and the dental office. There's some lore that says like they were also doing mental health treatment. Now, keep in mind, it was the 1930s. Mental health treatment down the basement as well. Yeah, so I have not been able to verify that though. I like the heartbeat. I mean, if anything, the dentist's office, especially 1930s dental practices, were pretty terrifying too. So,
Right.
yeah. So it's like sure. But yeah, but I haven't been able to find anything to support like, hey, come to, because there was ads for the Trivette clinic too. And there wasn't anything of like underground, like, hey, if your wife needs a lobotomy, bring her over to the Trivette clinic and Dr. Trivette has your back. Like I haven't heard anything, like I haven't seen anything like that in my historical research. And I haven't heard a lot of it from the locals either. And the locals were actually quite wonderful when I was interviewing them because they all care about that clinic. Not necessarily from a paranormal perspective, but it's like, oh, my grandmother was delivered at the clinic.
Right.
So
Wow.
Dr. Trivette touched almost all the families in that area in some way. Like either they took out their great uncle Pappy's tonsils, or he delivered like their grandmother, or they had family in one of the nursing home iterations. Like that clinic has touched almost every family in that community, and it means a lot to them. So, and that's something that's really quite beautiful about the Trivette Clinic, for a location to have so much, not just community support, but community connection. And that's why, like, I think the clinic has done as well as it has with its tours every year, because you have people who are like, oh, yeah, I've been going to the tours every year. It's the same stories for the most part,
Yeah.
maybe some new experiences sprinkled in based on what happened that year, but it's a place that means a lot to people. And that's how I approach the Hamptonville Hauntings book too. It's like, this is a place that people love and care about dearly. So I really wanted to treat it like treasure, So I was really trying to make sure, like, I didn't want to paint it as like, oh my God, demon house, like that
Right.
sort of thing. And so that's why with like the lore, the various types of lore that's come through, I really tried to make sure I said, hey, this is kind of anecdotal. It's, we don't know for sure, but at the end of the day, believe what you want to believe. This is just something I didn't find personally. So,
Right.
yeah.
It's a great location.
Oh,
It
so
is a
good.
great
So
location.
good.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that amazing
Mhm.
history about it, because that's great insight, because you've done the research and about the clinic, so it's nice to be able to get all that history from
Yeah.
somebody like yourself. So
I found myself getting really protective with the clinic too, because there's been some lore that's popped up too that I've been
Right.
like, okay, where did you find that? Before you start, spouting off like there's an Indian burial ground across the street. I'm like,
Right.
where did you find that? Like, where did you find
Right.
that?
Right.
Can you verify that? Because I'm also trying
Yeah.
to be very conscientious of, let's not make up stories, because the Trivette Clinic by itself is already
Enough.
active. It's
Yeah.
enough. Like, we
Yeah.
don't need to add more to it.
Right.
And I also believe in like the concept of like thought forms and tulpas too. So I was like, hey, let's not add like sugar. Let's not add sugar to the spicy dish, okay?
Right.
Like, because then that's going to diminish the spiciness of the dish.
All right, Mr. Allgood, I'm going to ask the question: how long do we want to take it? Because I have enough to go a whole nother show. Questions.
We can have Alex
I'd
back,
love
but
to have her back.
we can go over a little bit. I don't have to get up at 3 a.m. to travel, so
That's good. That's good.
and Audra has to work tomorrow. We can go till midnight. We're good.
Carmel has to get up at 5.
Ooh.
Oh, I still have to get up at 5. I just don't have to get up at 3.
Yeah. So I guess let's talk about the symposium that you host in Gettysburg. So let's talk a little bit about that, what exactly it is, what kind of submissions that you have people, that you look for when asking for submissions, I guess. Just kind of explain to the guests in chat that aren't familiar with what the paranormal symposium is in Gettysburg. Just kind of give them a little insight as to what it is and what you started out there.
Yeah, so the Paranormal Research Symposium is a conference that takes a very direct academic approach, where for anyone who wants to speak at the symposium, you have to submit a 300-word abstract about your presentation. And then there's a committee. It's mainly my team plus a few friends who are in like the more parapsychology academic circles. We read the abstracts and we decide like, okay, is this a good topic for the symposium? Is this interesting? Is it groundbreaking? Was it teaching? And then we make decisions, and then we gather in Gettysburg for a day. And we have 3 different rooms booked, and we have these presenters, present their research, do their findings, or some workshops too. And then afterwards, we have the speakers write papers, and then we put those papers in a journal. So we very much do the academic approach. We don't actually have a vendor room because we want to encourage people to go to the presentations.
Right.
A part of the conditions of being a speaker is you need to be open to getting pushback and feedback. It's supposed to be an interaction between the presenter and the audience. And so far, it's been the first year. I spent a little too much money, so the recovery was not quite there financially. Last year, first year we lost like $1,800. This past year, 2025, only lost 150, and I was like, hey, hey. And this year we'll see how it goes, because we also added a Friday night element to it as well, mostly because I didn't want to wake up at 5 a.m. on a Saturday to set up. Um, I was
Okay.
like, let's set up on a Friday and maybe we
Right.
can do some extra panels or, interaction. So we added a VIP night to Friday. But yeah, so it's very much an academic event. It was born from me I go to London for work, and I usually try to stay a weekend. And as Society for Psychical Research just happened to be doing an all day event where people were presenting their papers and having tea and biscuits in between. And I was like, this is great. I'm like, I could sit here, like, listen to people's research. I could eat cookies and drink tea and, have some really great interactions with people. And I realized, I'm like, that's something I've been really wanting to have here in the States. And for me, it's like, I guess instead of waiting for someone to do it, I was like, I'm making okay money and I think I can afford this. And I put a Facebook post out to my community. I said, hey, if I rented a hotel conference room for a day and had people come and speak, and would anyone be interested? It blew up. Like,
Yeah.
it blew up. So I was like, okay, there's an interest in this. And yeah, it's been
It,
going well
it's
ever since.
it's good. We went the first year.
Yeah.
We know, friends of ours,
Ron
with
Lourdes,
Chris
yeah.
Ron and Lourdes and stuff. They did a great presentation. All the presentations were good, and I know the first year was kind of there was a little bit of kind of we had the ghost
Yeah.
at Ghost History. What the heck? I'm having right there in town at the Circle, Andy
Oh,
from
yeah,
Ghost, right? So that's where
Ghost.
spoke there. Yeah, Ghost History Tours or whatever, and then in the hotel, and then I think you even at the orphanage. I think you may have had.
Yeah, we did. We did
So
learn that first year, like we had everything too
right.
spread apart. So the last year we booked the 1863
Yep.
Inn, which is right across the street from the orphanage, and it was just way easier for people to get to places, and we added a longer break in between, and
Right.
yeah,
It's
so
good, and you've learned this is going to be your third year doing it, so
mhm.
it's a learning experience, right? And the
Yep.
key thing is, and which me personally, I like to go to them to listen to different people give their perspectives and get their to be educated, because that's what it is. Like, I mean, Carmela and I, we've always had a love for the history and doing the history tours and ghost tours and stuff like that. And then it's unlike Chris and Audra, who've been investigating for a long year, we've only been doing it for roughly formally 4 years. So we're still learning, and I want to interact with people. We want to learn from individuals, and
Yep.
we've been fortunate in a short period of time to be able to work with some great people, Chris and Audra, Ron and Lourdes,
Yeah.
Raul and Power, and Full Moon Paranormal, and Nine Lives. Kara and Gail, I think they spoke last year. I
Yeah.
think at the
Mhm.
symposium and stuff. So it's a great concept, great idea. So kudos to you for
No, it's great.
being able to go out there and do it, because not everybody has that force, ambition, or they think about it, but maybe not to put it in place.
Yeah.
So,
And
Yeah.
I love the way you vet the speakers, because, hey, don't just pay for a spot to speak and come in and speak.
yeah.
Tell me what value you're going to add to the symposium, so we get some interaction, we get intelligent thought, we get some learning involved, and you're able to go back and forth with people in the group with a valued response. That is phenomenal.
Mhm.
Man.
Yeah, it's quite different than the traditional Paracon. And what's interesting is we've had celebrities offer to come and speak at the symposium, and then they give us a price, and I was like, wait a minute, what? But I'm like, no, you're welcome to come speak, but you need to put in an abstract. Like, you need to submit an abstract, because this is not going to be you sitting in a chair backwards telling us about your scariest experiences behind the scenes on your TV show. Like, that's
Not what
that's great for another venue. It's great for another event, but the symposium is meant to kind of bar raise the field of research and thought, and just encouraging dialogue. So it's been interesting navigating those dynamics because we get contacted by a lot of celebrities and agents of celebrities of like, hey, have such and such come to your event, and we're like, and I'm like, well, I'm paying for this out of pocket, and I don't know if anyone's checked, vesting for tech or stocks for tech right now, but it's kind of up and down, so I can't afford you. I can't afford you. So, but also if you submit an abstract, we could consider you. And it's been interesting navigating those dynamics. But it's been really cool too because I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from different people and different perspectives. And honestly, like I'll probably keep doing the symposium in some sort of way for as long as I'm around because it's also giving exposure to people who may not have had that same opportunity because maybe they haven't been on a TV show or they don't have a ton of followers on social media. I mean, really, it's like we're looking at you from like, hey, what value are you bringing? Not how many followers you have or
Right.
who you're friends with. So,
Well, and what value do you have to paranormal research
Right.
yep.
versus how many haunted candles can you help me sell at my table? Right. I hate to put it in that type of perspective because
You're right, Chris.
I love the Paracons because you get to see people that you haven't seen in a while in the paranormal field.
Right.
There are quite a bit at the Paracons that is just people there that are trying to sell their product. And unfortunately, that merges those of us that have been in the paranormal field that aren't looking to be famous. We're not looking for TV shows. We do it because it's a passion. And we want to learn from the people that have deep dived, like Ron and Lourdes, like yourself, into paranormal locations and put the valuable research out there. The symposium puts that in place to where you can actually go as a paranormal researcher and you can learn more that helps you improve your portion of what you do as a paranormal researcher versus having to fight through all the vendor tables, having to fight through the long lines of people wanting to take pictures with the people that have been on TV and actually get to the stands where you can learn more stuff about the paranormal research. I don't have a bad thing to say about the Paracons because they're fantastic.
Yeah.
They get the exposure out there to the rest of the world. But the symposium sounds like something that strong investigators that are actually in it for the research, that believe that spirits are humans that have just left their physical body. How do we get in contact with them? What are the better ways to do it? What techniques you can learn? It sounds like a valuable tool, and I love it.
Yeah.
Who's the lovely couple behind you in the picture?
Oh, that's a artistic interpretation of Frankenstein and his bride.
Oh, I'm like, I can't like make it out, but I can see it's an old picture. So I'm like, all right, who's the?
Yeah, it's Frankenstein and his bride posing for a Victorian portrait.
I saw that. I couldn't make out details on faces though. So that's awesome though.
So I'm trying to imagine any kind of paper. And well, here's the other thing with that, Mary Beth. If Alex, one of the submissions that came through, I was going to actually ask this question, and you accepted, would they still
Want to get paid?
Yeah,
that's definitely something where I'm like,
all right, hey, we're going to have you, but all right, well,
yeah.
kind of part, kind of, it's for the education aspect.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. The Paracons are great for promoting the paranormal and getting it out to people that are in the paranormal and people that want to be a portion of the paranormal. This sounds like it's something that is strictly for those hardcore investigative researchers that want to learn more techniques.
Yep.
And that's fantastic.
Yep. Yeah, and I pay for this out of pocket, out of my own wallet. So that's why ticket sales and sponsorships and merch sales are really helpful. But I also like, I'm just very forthcoming when a celebrity reaches out. It's like, hey, I can't, I literally can't afford you. Like, unless we get a sponsor that's gonna, because we've actually had some, I'm not going to say well-known, but better-known people submit abstracts. And then when we accept them and then they say, okay, well, here's my price. And I'm like, No, sorry.
Right.
Like
You know
what
what to do.
I would love to be able to provide all the speakers with hotels. Like that's the thing. Like if I were
Right.
to help out one speaker or pay one speaker, I would want to pay all of
Right.
them
You
somehow, or at the very least cover all their hotels. Maybe one day, everyone manifests me winning the lottery.
Mention it, well, put it in the universe. So I actually
But
have on the scientific background, and when I do the research, because I do the promos, and I like to go through everybody's socials and get little
Mhm.
nuggets for the promos and stuff. So one
So
of the
in
things
other words, Alex, Todd stalks our guests.
I don't guess, Chris. So one of the things is,
Fantastic.
actually, it was a recent one. You put out a post on Instagram. It was about the Guardian put out an article about infrasound study.
Yes.
And so I'm thinking you talked about at the end about how the infrasound stuff, it was done in a controlled environment, I guess, but at like a haunted location, but more like a jump scare, I guess, location, kind of haunted house type of location, versus at the end you were like, maybe they should try and do it at Tala. That's kind of
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah,
So,
that was one thing I was disappointed about with that particular study. I know there have been other like studies done at more conventionally haunted locations, but I'm like, okay, well, yeah, if you're gonna do infrasound at a haunted house with like the masked actors and the chainsaws and people jumping out at you, I don't know if I necessarily need the infrasound to make things spooky. I have anxiety, so like you're gonna put me in one of those places one of those haunted houses, like I'm gonna be
cortisol level's going to be through the roof, right?
exactly. So I'm like, listen, like, like, and plus you are creating an environment already that's spooky. I would
Right.
love to have seen that same study or the same practices done, but maybe in a house that's haunted that doesn't look haunted. I would like to see, because it happens. Like there's houses that look perfectly normal, and then they're like, wait, there's something not right here. It's like something's wrong. Or even Tala, like Trans Allegheny. Like I would have loved to have seen the different like that being done in different conditions. So,
Right.
but that's my little soapbox. But
No, good. Interesting insight.
And so I have to do a little correction, guys. Todd is not a stalker. So for everybody out there,
He's a researcher.
he's the researcher. So for everybody out there that watches Stay Haunted, Chris does the technical stuff behind the scenes. I reach out to Alex, I reach out to the guests, set everything up, get their bios. I do the promo, create the show, and put it out. Todd is the creative one that does all those really cool videos that you guys see. That's not Chris. Chris is not fluffy. Chris does all the behind the scenes stuff. Todd is the one that puts all those great videos that makes Alex look great and gets the promo out for the shows after I post the show. Once the show is posted, everything you see after that, that's all Todd. I have to give Todd the credit.
Yeah, he does a great job.
Yeah. Of course, he has to stalk them to do it, but I'm just kidding. Look, I made him blush. Look, he's blushing.
That's 2 weekends in a row.
It wasn't me that made you blush last weekend. All right, Alex. First question I got to ask you is, can we have you back on to talk about other stuff besides Trivette?
absolutely, yeah.
So we will definitely reach out to get you scheduled back on. But before we go, give us a shameless plug. I can tell you guys right now, I just bought her Hamptonville book off of Amazon. So I know you can find your books on Amazon. But everything that you're doing, where are you going to be? Where can people reach out to you? Where's the next symposium? Where can they get your books? God damn it, people buy her books.
Please buy my books. Help me pay for the symposium. Yeah, so I'm going to be at Con Carolinas later this month in Charlotte. This is my last year as the paranormal track director, so it's going to be a very bittersweet year for me. Just moving on to other things in life. And then I will be at Haunted America in Alton, Illinois in June. I'll be presenting. I don't know on what yet. Hope Troy Taylor's not watching this. I'm working on my presentation. And then the symposium is going to be August 21st and 22nd. So the 21st is a Friday. That's when we're doing our VIP night. And then the 22nd, all day, the symposium will be going. We will be sending out acceptance emails or decision emails on Monday. So I'm in the last stretch of reading abstracts, and the committee's meeting this Saturday to talk. Yeah, so the symposium will be in Gettysburg. If you're not able to attend the symposium, if you would like to buy a shirt to help support it, that'd be great. And yeah, like you mentioned, my books are on Amazon, and I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok under the spooky stuff. So if you want to see like fun videos about hauntings and history and paranormal news, follow me there. And I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Always,
She made me tired.
don't disappear after we sign off, because we like to chat a little bit after. We always forget. We always forget to mention that, and people sometimes just disappear on us.
Peace out.
Everybody, I have to apologize. I dominated the conversation with Trivette Clinic because Trivette Clinic is one of the best locations we've ever investigated.
We love it there.
We loved the Trivette Clinic. We wish we still lived close enough to go there and do some more investigations, especially with Todd and Carmela. I think they would really enjoy it. So I'm sorry I dominated it with Trivette. We will definitely have Alex back to talk about some of the other stuff she does. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And some of her other books, we'd really like to deep dive into that. So we will definitely have Alex back as soon as we possibly can. If we can get her commit tonight, we will. Guys, thanks for joining us again. Guys, remember, Alex is a good example in the paranormal world of let's focus on the locations that we need to save. Let's concentrate that those locations stick around, like the Trivette Clinic. Make sure that the history behind it doesn't disappear, because it's the history behind it that tells the story of what we investigate as investigators and researchers. That's what we're doing. We're not there to go, hey, I captured a boo. I captured a mist on camera. We're there to tell the story of the people that came before us. That's what paranormal research is. Prove that the afterlife still exists, and the energy from the afterlife, because of the value of the location, is why it's still there. And there's only one way you can do that. It's to stay haunted. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night.
Good night.